I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait till I'm done with this book review because it is so hot and I'm wearing a sweater, which is my damn fault for wanting to be a cute little sheep. Hey everybody, it's Stephanie and I will be doing a book review on The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I'm so excited to do this book review because I haven't done one in a while. I know you were probably expecting Allegiant by Veronica Roth, but I still haven't seen the movie, and to stick with the general pattern that I've been doing with those book reviews, I wanted to make sure I watched the movie before I did a book review, but I have read it, and I'm really excited to do that. But surprise, it's actually not a Veronica Roth book, and let me tell you, I've been so excited to do this book review. I love, 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 love this book. Like, without even having to get into the book review, if that's all you take away from this, like, first, 20 seconds of the video, I love, love, love this book. This book I bought a really long time ago, and it's been sitting on my shelf. I don't really know why it is that it kind of eluded my attention for such a long time, but I read Veronica Decides to Die, which I did a book review for at the very beginning of the making of this channel. After reading that, I had to read more Paulo Coelho because his writing style is just amazing, and I am so excited to read more of him. I really hope I'm saying his name correctly. The really quick synopsis of the story: follow an Andalusian boy by the name of Santiago, I think. Been like a month. I believe his name is Santiago, and he is a shepherd, and he was a shepherd by choice, so that way he could travel with his sheep, and he has this really deep relationship with his sheep and relationship with the world and people in general, but he's a very simple guy, and as he's traveling he comes across a gypsy, and he thinks out of just curiosity that he's gonna get his fortune told, and she says that he has some kind of treasure that is waiting for him and that he needs to pursue it by doing XYZ things. And so he takes what she says and he's thinking about it, and then he meets this man who is some kind of king, and he also tells him, hey, you have what they call in this story a personal legend, and you need to realize that personal legend. If you don't go after it now, and if you never realize it, then you won't live essentially a full life. So it's a beautiful story about somebody who just essentially has some kind of destiny waiting for them, and in order to achieve that destiny, all the sacrifices that he has to make in order to get to it. This book could not have found me at a better time in my life, because I'm struggling with something very similar to what the main character struggled with throughout the book, because it doesn't all go very smoothly at all remotely, and it's not just I'm gonna decide to do this and then a couple trials of a couple weeks. No, his entire journey spans over, I think, a year or 2 years or something like that, and he ends up doing a lot of things he didn't think he was gonna do. For a while he gives up on the idea that maybe he wasn't meant to realize his personal legend and things like that. He meets really important people on the way, makes some wonderful relationships, friendships, kinships with different types of people, and learns different ways of living and accepts them all as perfectly valid and wonderful ways of living in their own respect. So really, that's all it's about. It's not very long, it's pretty short, and the story itself goes by really fast, and it was one of those books that I just couldn't put down. So I didn't have a whole lot of free time, but collectively I think it only took me 2-3 hours to finish this book. But that's the synopsis. I'm going to do a quick spoiler-free review of the book and the story. So the story I give a 5 out of 5 because it's just really relatable. It's not super detailed, it's not super crazy. His general storyline is relatable, and then the little sub-stories that go into his storyline to getting to the end of the book is also very interesting. The characters I would give a 5 out of 5 as well, because they're all very different, and in just a few pages, because he doesn't go into detail on each character very in depth, you still get a really great sense of what each character represents and what kind of life they live, what their motivations and goals are, and all of that kind of stuff. And Paulo just did a really great job of writing them into the story and making them super important and relevant and interesting without giving a whole life's backstory or even dedicating any more than maybe 20 to 30 pages per character. So I thought that was awesome, and it was kind of like a Wizard of Oz kind of tale where Dorothy goes through and she meets one person at a time. She has a different experience with each of them, but they're all very important, especially at the end. And then as far as the writing, it's Paulo Coelho. So the writing was fantastic and beautiful and wonderful, and I have about 50 different quotes from this book alone that I would love to commit to heart and never forget, because they're really good motivational quotes. That's my favorite thing about this entire book. This entire book felt like a huge motivational speech. I'm gonna do quick recommendations and then go into the spoiler part. So recommendations, I would suggest this book to anyone who is either just starting high school or college, because it can speak to a person who is trying to achieve a long-term goal. If you're someone like me who is trying to pursue some kind of career and it's something that you're like starting from scratch and doing, or if you're like giving up something you've worked so hard for already to pursue something else you know you want more, which is my exact position in my life, then this book is so perfect. It is like the best pep talk in a nice little fiction literary novel. And there are so many quotes that I revisit often now because I am struggling with all the setbacks that are happening with me trying to pursue my dream of getting into the literary publishing industry. Now we're going to go into the spoiler part of the review, which I don't do for every single review because sometimes I just don't have enough to say about it, either that or I have too much to say about it and there's just no way that I would be able to fit that in. There are a few things that I did want to address in this book that I adored. So if you've read this book, please keep watching and discuss with me because I think that this book has so much to offer in the way of discussion. So I'm really excited about this. So first of all, he talks about continuously in the book the theme of the unspoken language. Basically the language that pretty much anyone can understand, the thing that helps people communicate with animals in a way where they can read each other and being able to read the signs of the planet, being able to talk to the wind and things like that. I don't necessarily believe in maybe talking to the wind in the way that he does, because if you read the book you know that that's pretty far-fetched and out there. But I absolutely believe in an unspoken universal language because I feel it and I see it when I interact with horses. I grew up around horses. I grew up training and breaking and building relationships with many different types of horse. 100 I've interacted with, and there is absolutely some kind of like unspoken understanding between me and the horses I've developed relationships with. Even horses I haven't spent time with, I can still connect with. I think that has a lot to do with body language, but I think body language is part of that unspoken universal language. Just like how there's been studies done that across all cultures and countries and periods of time, a smile has always meant joy, and tears have always universally meant sadness or overwhelming joy. All those facial expressions and the reactions our bodies have to different stimulus, that's, I feel like, all part of that universal unspoken language. But then I think there's another aspect to it. I think there's kind of like an aura reading aspect. I don't necessarily believe in auras, but like, you know, when you walk into a room and you can tell that something's tense without having to like look at anybody, like maybe two people are fighting, maybe somebody's upset with you, you walk in and you just feel it, you know, immediately. You pick up on all the different little signs that are not immediately obvious to you, but your subconscious is picking up on it, and that is that unspoken language. And I totally 100% believe that that exists. But they talk a lot about omens, and like, I struggled a lot back and forth in this book about whether or not I believed in omens or not. I kind of do. I think I believe in omens because I choose to believe in omens. Like, I choose to believe that, you know, in the morning when I wake up and I, you know, trip over my cat or something like that, I believe that, like, there are certain signs to prepare you for the kind of day you're going to have. Or maybe it's that those things happen and you're in this mindset that that is what kind of day you're gonna have. And so that's what happens. Either way, I think those omens have power over our psyche. Whether it's just something we choose to interpret a certain way, so then we act out what it is we anticipate is going to happen, or they are actual signs from the world. But I will say that I believe in certain omens. I took away from this book specifically that setbacks are not always setbacks, they're guides. They're your... It's like the GPS on your phone telling you to go left and right and left and right, and you just know that you have a destination and maybe you don't know where you're going. There have been times when I've gone down south in Southern California. I just blindly follow what my maps tells me to do. I go left, I go right, I go on the highway, I go down a street. I don't know where I am. I just know that I have a destination, and I'm putting my faith in this mechanism, this thing that was designed to help me to get there, that it's going to take me there in the best way possible. And maybe, to me, if I had mapped it out myself, I would have gone a completely different way. Who knows? So I just think of those types of omens as your maps. And then, of course, do I believe in personal legends? I absolutely do. I don't think that we all have one. I think we have a personal legend for the moment. I think we have a personal legend for our life. And I think there are multiple, and I think that there are different ways to achieve them. And I think we just need to be open to that they might not be exactly what it is that we think they are. For a while, I thought my personal legend was doing retail visual merchandising, which is like a really bizarre field to like land in. I thought that was my personal legend, and then signs and omens and things, and just like in the book happens, things that I thought of as setbacks happened, and it directed me to realizing, wait a minute, that's not what I want, and that's not what I want to be doing. If I had ended up as a retail visual merchandiser for some retailer, doing like making their stores pretty or something like that, I don't think I would ultimately be satisfied, fulfilled, and happy. So I'm really glad that I read the signs and the omens and the things of the world that were telling me that that was not what I was supposed to be doing, because it's not. Because of all of that, I'm going to only bring up one more topic in this book, even though I could talk about this book for days. So please, please, please comment below and let's have discussion. Tell me your favorite things and things you took away from this book. Did you like it? Did you not? Did you love it? Because I want to never stop talking about this book. So the last thing I want to bring up is Fatima. And the reason why is because I felt like she spoke to me as a woman. She is such a wonderful woman character. I love the whole concept that at the Oasis, you know, women get married to men who leave so they can come back, you know? In order for, like, it was such a beautiful thing that she told him, like, go, pursue your personal legend, and when you're done, I will be here and we'll be together. How she believed, like, you know, he didn't want to leave her to pursue his personal legend. He thought she was his personal legend. I believe that outside of soulmates and people and significant others and love, first loves and true loves and all of that, we have a bigger purpose outside of just falling in love. Being in love and falling in love is a very important part of your purpose in life, and finding that romantic person or partner to be with for the rest of your life is a very big part of everyone's life. I think it's a very big part of everybody's personal legend. I think it's its own personal legend in itself, but it is not the only one. And I think that when people get fixated on, I found the love of my life, this means that I should be happy for the rest of forever, that's where things go wrong, because they're putting too much pressure on a human being to be everything you've ever dreamed. And you have so much bigger dreams than just one person. You have bigger dreams, you do, everybody does. Everybody wants to do something or be something. Everybody has some kind of talent or gift or desire or want to be good at something, that and take that and make that their living or their driving force in life, or their hobby that they can do that fulfills them and makes them happy. So I love that she knew that. She didn't realize it, she just knew it. She spoke this unspoken language, she understood him, she was on the same page with him, and she told him, go and pursue this, achieve this, and when you're done, I'll be here because I love you, and that's love to me. If I can't get your immediate attention, if I can't speak to you every day, are you still gonna come back to me? Because if you aren't, I should be moving on to something else. And if you are, I will wait for you. I think that's what that is. I don't know. But Fatima got it. She got it. She understands. And I was like, woman, yes, that's how I want to love. That's how I want to be when I'm in love. That's how I want to interact with whoever I fall in love with. That's what love is to me. And I've never read a book that had my form of falling in love, or what love means, or my form of love expression expressed in a novel. So it was so cool to meet her in this novel, and it was so cool to see her say that and be confident. She just wasn't saying it because it was the right thing to do even though it hurt. No, she was saying it with confidence and excitement for him and his journey, you know, and all of that. And she never really talks about her personal legend, which would be cool to see, or like some kind of sequel, some kind of small short story or something maybe. That would be nice, because I'm sure she had one of her own, because they were apart for a long time in between the time that he actually ends up going back for her. But anyway, I could talk about this book for days, for videos, for hours of YouTube time. I could talk about this book, because I could go through every single page, tell you everything I loved about it and how I interpreted it and feelings. I want to know your personal thoughts and feelings. I want to know what you think about this unspoken universal language. I want to know what you think about omens. I want to know what you think about personal legends. Do you have one? Do you believe in personal legends? Man, this book is so good. But that's all I have for that book review on The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Please pick up this book and read it and cherish it and have it always. And I will definitely see you guys later.